Hey, Neil, Jim, you guys do have bail money budgeted for this show, right?
We're going to try really hard to show you what we've seen and what we enjoy about Europe.
Yeah, but there's no substitute for being there, for seeing and hearing and tasting all that these countries have to offer.
Things you can't experience anywhere else.
This show is not designed to tell you where to go. We just want you to see that there's a lot of fun to be had, food and wine to be tasted, and people to meet. It's up to you to do the rest.
So let's get started. Well, it's afternoon in London, and right now, everyone's having tea. But what's next?
Well, I thought tonight we could take a walking tour. There are some pub walking tours that look like...
How about a walking tour with a little more edge? Like the Jack the Ripper walking tour? Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Window tax. A tax on windows, which dates back over 400 years. But basically it's a tax on windows, a tax on glass. The expression daylight's robbery, if you've heard of it, this is where it comes from. You were robbed of your daylight if you couldn't afford to pay for it.
City living can take its toll.
And while every city has its own character and pulse, we always look for an opportunity to discover new, out-of-the-way places, to see how people live their lives and get a better feel for the area.
And maybe try the local language?
Voglio chiello, la donna alto. I want that tall woman.
Oh, no. We're not in London anymore, and one of the reasons is that it's really easy and inexpensive to get around Europe these days. Competition has made airfare within Europe very, very cheap. Before we left the States, we knew we wanted to go someplace warm after London, so we booked a fare from England to northern Italy for $10 a person. We got down here and saw that there was an international fireworks competition in San Remo, Italy, and didn't need much more than that, and as an excuse to come see the Italian Riviera and to see what kind of trouble we could get in.
E se laviassi I piatti? What if I wash the dishes?
You're gonna need to.
I like the idea of discovery.
Yeah, sometimes you find places you fall in love with, and then there are those locations that are better left undiscovered.
But when you find those jewels, those diamonds in the rough that you can call your own discovery, that makes the memory that much more special.
Something that you hear about and you see in movies and this and that, but then when you're literally standing in the middle of it all, you're right there and it's real, and people, old women are hanging out of windows, hanging their laundry out. It's all, you're breathing it in. That was fantastic. It just hits home right there that it is absolutely real.
This is phenomenal. You drink red wine that comes from France, but you never really appreciate where it actually originates from, where it gets its life until you come here. And you talk to these people who make it and who are so passionate about it. It's phenomenal.
These wines are sexy, they're full of expression, but you need to work at them. It's a bit like getting to know someone. If you knew everything immediately, then you'd sort of have nothing else left to discover. I don't know, I quite like getting to know people and then learning with them and evolving with them, and I think that's how we try and make wines here. not many other little villages in France where you'd find a Scotsman, an Irishman. This sounds like a joke, but a Scotsman, an Irishman, a Japanese and an American, all working in the wine trade.
It's not Paris or London. I mean, those are great in their own way. But you get off the beaten path into these smaller towns and you meet these people who are just, like you say, so passionate about what they're doing, and they're willing to share it with you. And not just you, but whoever drops in.
It is a place where you might stop in for an hour or two or an afternoon, and some places you might decide that that's more than enough to see it, and then some places like this you might say, gee, this would be nice to give a good 4 or 5 days to really explore and to really enjoy this part of the world.
Yeah, we hadn't really intended to stay here, but you know, it's such a captivating place, and the people are so friendly, and the restaurants are so good, and the wine is so good.
And
So
now
we
it's off
stayed.
to Paris.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can find there. There's always a completely different feeling between a town like this and a town like Paris or London or Rome, and each of them have their own spot. And we certainly have enjoyed our time in Tain, and now to Paris.
On to the City of Light.
I found through the years that cities are really alive because of the people, not because of the monuments.
So if you really want to get to know a city like Paris, find a different reason, something unique.
Look for a festival, an event, a parade, something to create a memory, something you can take back that not every other tourist will.
Well, Neil, this is our last weekend in Europe, and I must say it has been spectacular. We started out in London, went all the way down to the Mediterranean, where we had incredible weather, back up through the wine country, incredible wine. Now here we are in one of our favorite cities, Paris.
And what a great weekend to be in Paris with Bastille Day, where the people are celebrating out in the neighborhoods with small festivals at the Eiffel Tower with huge crowds. And here, what looks like the hotspot of the weekend, the firehouses of Paris.
Right now in Europe, you can celebrate the Bastille Independence Day.
In all my travels, Europe still holds a special place in my heart. And I think it does for a lot of people.
We found some interesting ways to explore Europe, and we've enjoyed the people we've met, the sights we've seen, and the memories we've taken away. Luckily for us, Europe has more to offer than we'll ever be able to see.
So we'll have to create some more memories and take in as much as we can.